So today we're going to be going over ChatGPT Projects, a newer feature on ChatGPT, what they are and how you can use them, and how it kind of differs from regular ChatGPT chats. So as you can see here in the projects icon, you can go ahead and click New Project, and it'll open it up like this. Now what's cool about projects is that it keeps almost all of your information confined to the project itself, like a new chat. But any instructions and stuff that you give it, you can continually work within it as opposed to constantly creating new chats. You can also click the little setting up here to basically set the memory to project only. That way it's not taking any information from your previous chats or anything else. It stays confined to the information and instructions that you provide to it. And you continually build within the project as opposed to having any influence from external sources within your ChatGPT account, or from anything that you haven't provided to it directly. So for instance, you can do one topic, for instance, investing. You could do homework, writing, health, and anything else over here. You can click travel. So let's say, for instance, we're going to do homework today, and we want it to be on a specific topic. Let's say it's something in psychology or math. It doesn't really make a difference. So you can set it to homework, and you can go ahead and click it to project only. That way all of the information stays confined to what you provide to the project. You can go ahead and click Create Project, and then you'll have it appear in your projects down here. So now, as opposed to this being a regular chat, you can continually work within it and give it the instructions and have it there permanently, as opposed to having to go through previous chats that you have yourself and then deleting, recreating, and all of that. And as you know, anyone that worked with a chat for a long period of time recognizes that at a certain point it starts to slow down, especially if you give it a lot of files. Projects is built for this, so it's much better to use for continual work as opposed to a singular chat. And like I said earlier, it stays confined to the information that you give it if you use that setting. So then you can go ahead and add files. For instance, if you're working on something specific in the homework in this case, if there's some sort of assignment, and you can ask it for advice or to help you in the context of whatever it is that you're working on. So we can say, for instance, I am studying for a history exam. I will give you some documents to help me out and prepare. So you can just do something like that, and then this is just basically now your homework chat, your homework project, so that you can work on a specific aspect or whatever document it is that you're working on and have it go back and forth with you and keep everything confined to what it is that you are working on in the name of itself being called a project. So now the main thing that basically makes a project in this case is it's essentially a folder for your conversation, as we said earlier. And the beautiful thing is that you don't have to continually re-explain yourself to the ChatGPT bot. It'll simply recognize what you are doing and stay on task continually, as opposed to separate chats where you may have to continually re-explain what it is you're doing and then give it the new task and new instructions over and over and over again. This stays on task, making it fantastic for homework or any sort of literal project that you are working on. So this is just one example of how you can use projects. For instance, if you are working on some sort of school thing and you need to study, you can easily use it for homework, but you can also do it for other things as well, as I said, with investing, writing, health. For instance, if you have health, you can go for health, you can click health, and then basically create a workout and diet regimen by once again uploading the documents that you see fit and telling it the instructions of what you need it to do, and then keeping it once again confined to the project itself, and then going ahead and creating. You can also do that by creating travel, for instance, and uploading your tickets if you have a place that you plan on traveling to in the future, and ask it to help you with hotel times or anything like that, as long as you upload the information and give it the appropriate instructions so that it can follow through. So we can go ahead and do travel again, and let's see what it does. So once again, you would go into your travel. Then you can add the files that you see fit, for instance, your plane tickets or whatever it is. Always be careful with ChatGPT, though, because it does keep your information, and there is a bit of data that leaks into ChatGPT's archives. So, you know, for these type of things, I would recommend being a little extra cautious. However, you can, if you feel comfortable enough to do so, give it your plane tickets, and then go over and say, I am traveling, for instance, to Greece. please help me coordinate a schedule and plan my hotel stays. And then you can provide it whatever extra documentation you need, and then go from there in planning your trip. It'll basically be a trip advisor that you have on hand to continually discuss, and then ask it for things that you'd like to do in that area. So for instance, once starting the project, you'll see here it's asking for travel dates, destinations, the pace of how much you'd like to go and what you'd like to do on each night, your budget level, your interest, your travel companions, city, island, transport, just more stuff so they can get more information on you. And you can provide those instructions and go through the process in projects by following what it basically is asking you to do. So you have various topics that you can cover, as we can see here, and you can even just create your own project if you see fit. It doesn't have to be under the guidelines that they set. Always remember, though, to go ahead and set it to project only if you don't want it to be taking information from your other chats. That way it keeps it nice and confined and organized so that it stays strictly within that singular chat. Now, while projects can't access from other chats or information from other chats, it can in fact access information from within its own project context. As you can see here, if I start a new chat within the project travel, I can start one right here, and it can pull from my other information such as my Greece travel itinerary planning. And for instance, if I went to homework, it would have access to my study help with a different topic that you can allow it to access and give it further context on different things that you're planning or doing in the future. So it is much better, in my opinion, to be using projects as opposed to different chats, because it would be just a jumble of information and way too many chats that you'd have to go through, as opposed to using the project's header and basically having all your information confined to specific topics. It's like a nice organization feature that ChatGPT has added. And that basically covers what exactly ChatGPT projects are and how you can use them. It's a very useful tool, in my opinion, and I've been using it non-stop. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful, or at least insightful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and have a nice day.